Hello and welcome to Soul Love with Kimness. I am Kim van der Zande, your host, and I'm super excited to share another episode of Soul Love with you, where we share inspirational and empowering stories from the heart. We talk about the beauty and the shadows as both are part of the ascension journey, to remind you that you are powerful, you are magical, and to have trust in what you feel to be true deep within. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Before we start the next Soul Love conversation, I want to invite you to check out my amazing book, Activating the Flower of Love, a sacred guide for manifesting your deepest desires and highest calling. This sacred book, filled with powerful tools and activations, will guide you to open your heart to the beauty and wisdom within you, empowering you to create the life you deeply desire from the foundation of love. You can find Activating the Flower of Love in all the major online and offline bookstores in ebook or paperback, or you can check it out through my website, kimness.nl, where you can also discover the different ways of working with me and the latest updates on new starting programs. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Welcome everyone to a new episode of Soul Love, and today I have the honor to share a sacred conversation with Ashley Holmes, and I'm very excited to share your beautiful frequencies and your beautiful story. So welcome of joining us.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here, Kim.
I think it's beautiful, and I think it's also for everyone tuning in something beautiful, and I will share the connection because you're a holistic fertility coach. But what I really love about what I've already learned from you, and I'm looking forward to learn more, is like how you combine the work of body, mind, and soul. And I've seen it in my own healing and in other, when we combine these different things, it's really magical to see what happens and how we can influence the tangible parts as well of our being. And I'm really looking forward to hearing how you started that, what it sparked for you, and the amazing things you get to experience through helping women and parents, new parents in that journey. So yeah, wherever you feel called to jump in. But I think it's magical, and it reminds us of the power that is within us when we look at ourselves in the totality of who we are. Yeah.
I think that I'm covered in goosebumps. So that's just positive energy and vibrations coming through, that it is mind, body, and spirit. And we all have that. And sometimes we're disconnected from that. And really, that is how I went from really infertility and doing things the hard way, I say, to fertility and conceiving with ease and naturally and without outside intervention, really empowering myself and having that mind, body, spirit connection, and knowing that what that means, what that can look like, and that that is unique for everybody. And there's no one right way, but your way, and to find that for yourself. And I just feel so blessed that I found that and I can share that with others, because I think when you're going through something challenging, when you're really struggling, it is often when you disconnect and you feel lost and you feel hopeless, and it can really be a deep, dark hole that seems hard to get out of.
Yeah, I get that. And especially when you feel like whether it's trying to become a mother or a parent, or whether it's healing, or sometimes we can feel like there is no solution anymore. But when we look at it from a broader perspective, we suddenly discover, when we get to co-create with all the elements of our being, that magical things are possible. But I don't know what that sparked for you, because you shared like also in your journey, like you went the conventional way, and what sparked and what awakened within you, or what created this opening to look at your body, mind, and soul. And
Really, what happened for me is that I've always been a seeker, and I've always had big questions, and I always wanted answers. And I walked away from the fertility clinic with twins, and I was very grateful, but I had no answers for unexplained infertility. And I feel like I found my own answers, and I landed on my yoga mat for a reason. And that became the beginning of my journey to myself and coming home to myself and really understanding myself on a whole different level and beginning to nourish myself in the most optimal way. Because before that, everything that is sort of put out there and thrown at us is a trend or a fad or it's not looking at you as a holistic being or person or a lifestyle. And what I offer is a lifestyle that is for you, for your unique constitution. You know, Ayurveda is the sister science to yoga. And through that, there is so much healing that happens when mind, body, and spirit are connected, and you treat all aspects of you, you look at all dynamics of you, and you feel whole because you already are, but you don't sometimes really embody that.
Yeah, it is. But it is also a deeper spiral, I think, also noted in my own journey and others. But it truly is this deeper seeking of also in healing. Like there is sometimes in the traditional way, there's only like, okay, you have this, so we will look at this area instead of, because we are this whole body, we are this field, we are our emotions, we are even bigger than that. And when we can embrace that, it creates openings for new ways of being. Yeah. But I'm wondering, like in your own journey, how did that, what were pivotal steps, like what in that, when you discovered like, okay, there's more to me, and you went on this seeking journey, what were like where you started to feel the difference, or the, yeah.
Definitely for me, it was really, it began with, you know, an egocentric way of hatha yoga and hot yoga. And
Yes.
it wasn't until I began to embody and embrace that I needed more yin and that quality and that aspect in my life and for myself, that really was the sort of reset button and sort of that missing piece of why I wasn't getting the results I wanted, why everything seemed so hard, because the type of energy that I was bringing to all areas of my life was really creating a lot of friction and resistance, and there wasn't that flow. And you know, yin yoga and yoga nidra and restorative yoga and these aspects that really are calming and quieting for the nervous system really takes you out of fight or flight into rest and digest, and that's where you want to be. And when you're on this roller coaster ride of ups and downs, it's just this constant strain and drain on your nervous system. And so it is stressful, but you need to be doing something with that stress. And it's not just as simple and easy as a bubble bath. I wish it was, but if it was just a bubble bath, you know, infertility wouldn't be so prevalent worldwide.
No, I get that. Yeah. But it's also like a constant commitment to yourself, because it goes beyond, like, it's you really, really honoring your vessel in beautiful ways. And it's also understanding how fight, flight, freeze works, because the moment you are in that, you're also going into tunnel vision. So you don't, you know, suddenly have the creative capacities of your brain awaken that bring you to solutions or new ideas. Or so it is also like, yeah, you need sometimes these inspirations, these sparks, a podcast like this or something else on your path that reminds you, okay, I can do something different, or that reminds you of, okay, I can step out of the cycle that I've been repeating. And like you doing yoga and understanding that at one point you need to embody it more and infuse it in every part of your body. Because I think in this journey where we are on, it's also important that we make it our second nature, our first nature, instead of, okay, I'm going to do this 1 hour a day or 1 hour a week, and then it's fine, like the bubble bath. But no, we need to really become this new version of ourselves that really embraces all the elements of our being and brings our system to ease and rest. So I love
there
yoga.
really is something about, you know, treating your body as the sacred vessel that it is, and honoring it and listening to it, because it's giving us so many signs and signals every day. As well as the biggest learning for me was becoming aware of my thoughts and bringing those subconscious thoughts conscious, and then realizing that I'm not my thoughts and I can change my thoughts, and my thoughts don't need to determine my future. And, you know, without meditation, without mindfulness, without really creating that space and place for that to come into my awareness, none of those shifts would have changed or occurred.
No, yeah, that's important. Yeah, because sometimes we can so identify us with the old parent patterns or the limiting beliefs, but we are not that. We are much greater, but it takes something to take us out of the situation. And in the last podcast we talked about the astrology, but I think it was beautiful because it approached astrology like, okay, I'm stepping out of the situation, I'm being triggered, and I'm looking at like almost going on this treasure hunt to find like, but by going on this treasure hunt, discovering what the stars are doing in your chart, you're stepping out of the situation, you're looking at it from a broader perspective. And that is with this as well, meditation or yoga. It supports you for a moment to step out of the being in life and to just view it from, and then you can make different choices and you can see like, okay, I'm not the pattern, or I can choose differently. But it's a daily dedication. Yeah. And because you have three beautiful children, were they all three via the fertility? No,
So the twins came via the fertility clinic, and I didn't think I could have any more children, and I didn't think that was possible for me. And I didn't want to use a fertility clinic again because I didn't enjoy how it felt in my mind, body, and spirit. And, I walked away from the clinic with no support, no answers. And that's really why I sort of birthed my business, is that there's nothing else offered to go alongside medical intervention, There's nothing for your mental and emotional health. There's nothing for your nutrition. And really, all of those aspects should be looked at as well, so that you are this optimal container to bring forth and create a beautiful baby. Yes. I mean, you can't just look at it from like the science perspective alone. You can, but your results are going to coincide with just looking at it from the science view and perspective as well.
And as you shared, also this insight came in like, it's truly beautiful if you support people in women and partners in this fertility piece with coming home to themselves, like embodying body, mind, and spirit, and making sure you take care of your vessel. But also as a young mom, I also have 2 children. How amazing would it be if we, during our also normal fertility process, but if we were taught to take good care of our vessel, to infuse body, mind, and spirit, because also as a young mom, a lot of energy, a lot of like sleepless nights and all the things come on our path. And if we then understand, okay, how can I nurture myself? How can I hold space? How can I think it goes beyond only the fertility piece. I think it's truly a gift when women are supported in that way, in the whole process, in the journey of becoming. And I think, somehow it popped in, but I think that's a beautiful, because there are so many pieces.
Yeah. I can just give a night and day version of how this looked for me. So the first time around was a high-risk pregnancy because it was twins. It was an emergency C-section, it was recovery and trying to look after 2 babies at home versus conceiving naturally and having my water break, going for a hike, delivering them naturally, and then being back at Baby and Me Yoga 10 days later. Same person, big gap of time in between there, and felt way better in mind, body, and spirit the second time around than I did the first time around, because I had all these tools and practices in place. So when I was sleep deprived, it was like, okay, I'm going to do a quick 20-minute yoga nidra and reset so I have enough fuel to get through the rest of the day. And I don't think we often, when we're so drained, we don't know what to do to help ourselves. But when you already have practices in place, it's like, this is what I need. And it's okay if it looks like this today, and tomorrow's a new day. And just knowing that those moments don't last forever, right?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And there's so many gems in that piece because it's realignment in whatever, whether you're a young mom, but also a busy job or whatever. It's such an important thing. Take a moment in your day, even if it's 5 minutes, to realign in whatever tool that is aligned. That helps. It helps in every conversation and everything you do. You feel more energized, more connected, more supported, more compassionate to yourself and others, but also really understanding, again, stepping out of the situation and seeing it from the broader perspective, understanding that, okay, this is this moment, but it is not forever. Or how can I look in all directions and support the situation? Or I think it's beautiful. And how do you support women now in there? Because like, as you shared, every journey is unique. And what are, maybe you can share some inspirational things that happened as you started to inspire others with your own story and infusing body, mind, and soul in that way?
I work one-to-one with women, and I always will, because I feel like they deserve that, and they need that unique one-to-one sort of, this is where I'm at, and this is what I've tried, and this was what hasn't worked, or I've had this many miscarriages or failed cycles of IVF, because you need to sort of honor what has come to pass before and move through that. And so you're not energetically carrying it into the next cycle. And so that's how I really love to meet women and honor them, because, they're not just a number. What you've been through, what you've experienced matters. And for them to open their hearts and share that true is really just a gift and an honor, because it's hard. And I've been there, and I know that that is challenging to say, this really sucks in the moment, but this is where I'm at. And yes, I could use help.
Yes.
And I think the most beautiful thing to realize and to see is how they glow before they are pregnant. When you start to love and honor yourself in such a way, your whole energy, your whole frequency, your vibration changes, and food tastes better. Their belief in themselves sometimes has been, really low, like 20%. And I think that this is possible for me. And like that shifts to like 85%, just a whole embodiment of who they are, what they are capable of, and that this doesn't define them.
Yeah, that's an important one as well, I think. Yeah, because it is like, if you go through that journey, I can imagine like having these experiences also makes you insecure about. So I really love what you shared, but it's with everything like first having compassion and love for what has happened, so that you don't build this next magical thing upon the memories of the past or upon the pain of the past. Or it's like in my book, I share more of the inner garden, but it's first harmonizing your inner garden before you plant this magical seed that you really want to blossom. Because if you plant it in the old, then it will only hinder it from growing, and it will only. So I think that's beautiful. Yeah, and it truly is like the power when we start to love ourselves, it magically goes in every area of our lives, but it really relaxes your system. And that's for fertility beautiful, but also in our conversations, in our job, in everything we do. So it's really about empowerment. But you take that with you, because also what I noticed in my own journey from becoming a mom, there are so many decisions to make during pregnancy and afterwards. And I had 2 natural births, but you need to stand strong and firm if you really want to do that. You need to also know the steps. You need to know what may happen, and then make a decision like, no, this is what I am. And in that, you also need the confidence to say like, okay, if someone else shares, no, better to be in the hospital. No, I really want this for me. And I know that these and whatever decisions we feel called to make from our heart, because there's no good or wrong. But I think empowering women before that, and that you understand what is possible and what we are capable of also as well. Like how our bodies, how magical they are, and what we can do, and what we, So I think it's beautiful to empower women as well before that big, because it really changes your life the moment you become a parent. You can't really, like, certain things you can explain, but there are a lot of things that just the moment it happens, and then it's beautifully that you already are in that space of connection and of understanding and support. And I think especially the one-on-one space is beautiful. Yeah. Can you share like a magical thing or something you like, a magical story that happened, or if someone is tuning into this, like what are beautiful steps they can take to nurture themselves more and to come more in that space?
I always encourage and say that everybody should do something for their mind, body, and spirit every single day. I think that it is so, so important, and is so often overlooked how powerful and how impactful that can be for you to just take that time and to know that by starting your day with meditation, for example, that really sets you up with intention for the day ahead. And by choosing some movement for your body, whatever that looks like for you, there is no right and wrong, but finding something that you love And then finding that connection with yourself throughout the day so that you are energetically just held and supported with your inner knowing instead of being pulled this way and that, however your day goes. And I think it's just so important to take that time, because the time that it takes gives you time in the end. And, that keeps you healthy, that keeps your vitality strong. And, I've just witnessed this by embodying this for over the past 7 years. I'm the only one in my house that doesn't get ill. I'm the one who just keeps going and keeps offering and providing for everyone, because I take that time for myself every day because I matter. And I know that when I do that, I have so much more to give to myself, to my family, to my friends, to my clients, to everyone.
Yes. Yeah. And that's an important key. Yeah, because sometimes we can think, oh, I don't have time for that, but it really gives you so much time back, and things go quicker and things go more smooth and you have more energy to give. It's really, but I think just just in general, in the collective, like taking good care of yourself, it is not really something I have been taught at school. So, and sometimes people say, oh, that's selfish, or I don't know, but it's really taking good care of ourselves. Then we can also be there in a better way for others, and we can be more productive and more creative and more loving and more compassionate. And it truly is when we take that moment. But then it comes back to self-love. Do we find ourselves valuable enough to take that moment in our mornings or during our day to then, so that we can be there for ourselves and others in a more beautiful way? Yeah. What do you do as practices to align? Like if you say make moments in your day to realign and to tune into your inner wisdom for guidance and clarity, what are your beautiful ways to do that when you are in a busy day or being a mom? Or do you have like tools you use or ways to do that?
I always, they recommend sometimes different people to have like an anchor. So I have on my wrist like a Ahimsa sign. So if I just feel like, say, before I hop on a meeting or something, I'll just put my hand on it and I'll chant the sound of Om before. And it's just like that realignment, that centering, and just taking that pause, taking that breath, right? Instead of just from one thing to the other and, go, go, go. And it's just taking that time, taking that moment. And that's sometimes all you need. Sometimes you may need longer, and sometimes you have the chance to give that to yourself, but you don't always. But the opportunity for you to pause in the moment and instead of reacting and to just take that time before you respond is always, it's not always ingrained in us, but it's a good practice to begin to embody, because
I love that. Yeah.
It's a much nicer space and place to come from.
It is. Yeah. And I love, as you shared as well, it's creating an anchor for yourself. And the more you do the same ritual, whatever that is, because it is like tune in with your heart, what your ritual is or your symbol. But at what moment your field also knows, like, okay, like you holding your bracelet with that symbol and the Om sound, and your system already knows, okay, I can relax. And the more you practice that, the quicker it also goes. And what I love about symbols, and what I notice, like the moment we create a link with a symbol in that way, the universe can also, like per se, like maybe you like the flower of life or anything, and you put that symbol and you work with that, and when you are in the flow of energy, then the moment the universe wants to give you a signal, it also knows that it can use that symbol for you to understand. So I don't know if that's with you, but I noticed when I use certain symbols to anchor things in my body, in my field, or to anchor a desire, then the universe can also use that to signal me, like, okay, this is the next path, by giving it in a message or in a card or in whatever way. But I don't know if you notice that with the symbol you have on your bracelet, if somehow the universe gives you signs then where you see it more or that are aligned, or
the synchronicities that are there in the universe that are available to us, that are so often they just can be overlooked, are just astounding sometimes. And the more you're sort of in that energy and vibration, the more you see them and the more you notice them, and then you pick up on them, and it's like, yes, this is where I'm meant to be. Yes, this is what I'm meant to be doing. And yes, this is the right path for me, because sometimes we question ourselves.
It's each time we grow and expand, and each time it's like an ever evolving journey for every one of us. Like I always say, we're ever evolving students of life and students of our own inner wisdom. So but I love, like in my book, it shares a beautiful example of creating, like if you have a deep desire, creating a symbol, one symbol for you, and you connect that with the desire, and then suddenly the universe can give you signals like, okay, this will help you in that direction, but it's by us saying to the universe, okay, this is my symbol, or this is how I choose to align, and then it gets to co-create it. So you get these synchronicities. I always love that. But the moment you talked about your bracelets, I somehow needed to think about that it's also a beautiful way. Your system knows that you are choosing for a moment for reconnection, but it's also a way for you to receive messages. And I think it's beautiful. If there's one thing, a thing of wisdom, or one thing you would like to share with everyone tuning in, or empowerment, or a tip or an advice, what would it be?
I always say that your health and your happiness and your healing are in your own hands always, because they are. And when you can embody and embrace that, your life will be forever changed, and anything is possible if you're open to receive that.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, and it truly is. It's being open and willing, and choosing to expand beyond. And the mirror, I think it's like sometimes we call that miracles, but in the end, it's just if we really start to understand how the mechanism works, we have access to these miracles all. But it's us choosing to see things from different perspectives, choosing to find we are worthy of it, and expand our awareness into beautiful things. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your vibration, your empowering message. And if you want to know more and how you can work with, you can find all the information below. I have added all the links if you're listening to the audio or video. And for now, just thank you for sharing this sacred conversation. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next Soul Love podcast. So for now, much love and see you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining this episode of Soul Love. If you want to find out more about what we do, you can find it below. And I'll see you in the next episode. Much love.